My name is Tony Barrow. I am the pastor of Palace of Prayer Church located at 131 Roebuck Street, Bridgetown, Barbados. Our website is palaceofprayer.com. My testimony is, well, like so many others, young people in the church, I grew up in the church, Christian, very strict Christian parents. But as time moved on and I grew up, I started to rebel. However, I always did have a faith and a belief, a relationship with God. I always believed that God was real. I got to a certain age, around 13 or 14 years, and I was introduced into marijuana or weed. And because of what I was facing in terms of my own personal life, it caused me to really gravitate toward this drug. And instantly I was hooked, and I formed almost an instant addiction to marijuana. I would smoke heavily every single day, daily, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, throughout the day, constantly getting high. But at the same time, I always kind of maintained a relationship with God. I would get high and pray, I would get high and read the Bible. I always maintained that relationship with God, but I knew that what I was doing was wrong. I continued year after year throughout my school years, getting high daily. When I got a certain age and got out of high school and went into my collegiate years, I would move down back and forth to Philadelphia, and I would sell the drugs. I remember also even selling drugs out of my father's church plenty of times. So it was a back and forth thing concerning me and my struggle with marijuana. It went on for, I would say, maybe about 14, 15 years of constant daily smoking. It led me to the point where even while I was smoking, I was also a musician in the church. I played the organ and the keyboard. Many times I would come to the church high and play the music. I always kind of knew in the back of my mind that eventually I would become, I would say, a preacher of sorts. So I definitely always kept that in the back of my mind. However, I was always reluctant to kind of do it. But I remember one day while I was playing the organ in the church, I heard a voice say to me, "It's time to pastor." It was clear. I'll never forget it. It said, "It's time for you to pastor." And I remember I was kind of unsure of the voice. And I went home. I smoked some more. I smoked that entire week. I went to church again the next Sunday. I heard the same voice again saying, "It's time to pastor." And I heard it so clear, I remember even nodding my head. That was the introduction in my latter 20s of really taking God serious, of really making an attempt to serve God and to live for God. I say that because almost instantly I began to preach, and God began to kind of use me. And this is where I was introduced into pastoring. However, even though I was pastoring, and as I put in a lot of time and as I put in a lot of study, I began to become better. I began to read. I used to fast a lot. I would pray a lot. But at the same time, I still had that struggle with marijuana and with smoking. Many times as I got better at preaching, what happened was I would be able to get invitations to several places to preach. And many times I would preach completely high. I would smoke and then go preach to people. I would get high and then go minister to people. and it was always a hidden, a hidden, what could I say? A hidden fight, a hidden struggle that I had. What happened was eventually I did get tired. I remember I stopped for a whole year, hardcore. I just completely cut it out. And then as time went on and as I kind of went through certain things, I would reflect back to it. It was an ongoing process. And so that whole year of being sober really amounted to nothing at all. Eventually, God exposed me. And that was how I had to eventually stop. God will bring you to a place of shame and embarrassment because he won't allow you to make mockery of him and to make mockery of his word. And even as a preacher, I've learned that you must be clean in order to truly be used by God. And so when I was exposed and it got out that Pastor Tony gets high, and it wasn't a good look, and I decided to change my life. And I've left it, and I've never had a desire to go back. And I thank God for what he's done in my life and how he has delivered me from my past. And now I'm moving forward and just believing God for great things. If God did it for me, then he could do it for anybody.